Guys, what's going on? It's Matt. You are here. It is vlog number 6. Today we are talking about how to create content every day for your social channels. This is one that I think every musician has to have in the bag now, right? We're struggling. We're out here. We're trying to make content. The only way to really get it is, to connect with people on social. Hope you have one that really pops off, I think. So this is an exercise in how to do that, how I do it personally. I'm no expert. I'm just a guy who's tracking his progress, just talking about my experience, what I do, how it works for me, and what I've seen success with. If you haven't seen my other posts, I have a couple other interesting ones. I think they're interesting. I don't know. If you're just getting started as a musician, the last one I did was about how to record at home with some cool links, some free tools, things like that. And then I've also done how to engage your mailing list and build up an email list and things like that. So this is stuff I'm just learning along the way. You can take it with a grain of salt. You can say, Matt, thanks so much for helping me out. This is so cool. In any way, I think there's a couple things I want to go through. I think the first thing, once you have music, that's really important. Now, that music doesn't have to be studio level recordings, to be honest with you. It could be, I've kind of started to experiment actually a little bit with the at-home acoustic jams, seeing how people like that. To be honest with you, the pre-recorded stuff does a little bit better. Maybe that's just a me thing because I don't have to sing that well, whatever. But yeah, different content types is important. But I think the first real thing I wanted to mention is like dedicated shoot days. If you can carve out time in your schedule, everybody's busy, everybody works, everybody has stuff going on. But if you can say to yourself, all right, this is the day of the month even. You could do every week of the month that I'm going to say, like, I'm going to try to get as much content as possible. That's really going to help you. Dedicated shoot days paired with, this is annoying, but paired with what are stupid things that I do in my everyday life that I could maybe have fun with my music too. Now, your tone, how you talk about your music is incredibly important. That's another piece of this. You need to figure out your tone. Are you funny? Are you heartfelt? Are you serious? Are you moody? Are you like what are you trying to convince people of essentially, right? I haven't figured that out yet. Unfortunately for me, I am like a naturally just I want to lean into humor in content. It's just where I gravitate to. I wouldn't say I'm funny. I just that's like what I want to do. It's just kind of be a little bit more funny in my content. The problem is I don't make funny songs. I make stuff about like loving people and heartbreak and wanting to see people do well and loving my family and things like that. So that's something that I'm personally struggling with right now. But dedicated shoot days, content along the way. What's your morning routine like? Does your song fit with that? Your trip into the office, are you working a night shift? Are you working at a weird time or something like that? And it's like an interesting perspective. Are you going somewhere interesting that day? It's like, come with me to blah, blah, blah. And then it's like my song's in the background. Cool content that people like to consume with your music inserted, I think is kind of an interesting one. For the most part, I would say good lighting is important. I use a lot of natural lighting. I like to do a lot of shooting outdoors because it's just the best lighting there is. And I'm shooting everything on my phone. I don't. Other people might use cameras. I don't have that kind of resource where it's like the best camera in the world. Where I feel like you see that and that content does really well. And if you have a team or a piece of a tool that you can use, that's great, awesome. Like happy for you, tip of the cap. I don't have that. I have a good iPhone. My wife has a good iPhone. I use it. Like that's what I do. But good lighting is really important because you want people to see your beautiful mug, right? Come on. The other one is having a music source. So what I've learned is like for those pantomime, like singing faux into the camera while your song is playing, you need something else playing your song. That could be your car radio. I use my iPad. I bring my iPad and then I click the song, play it, and then it's like, oh, this is the part I want to sing about, whatever. No audio on the actual content, and then you dub it in later. So that's one that's bring as many things as you can to prepare yourself, so you're not like, I forgot, like I can't play it from my phone while I film on my phone, right? That's a challenge, and that's why I use the iPad because like even I connect my phone to my car, I do content in the car. How am I going to listen to the song if I'm recording? Right? Doesn't make sense. So maybe someone smarter than me has figured that out. I have not. I use my iPad. Yeah, I talked about figuring out your tone. I think that's really, really important, right? I've talked about that in previous videos too. Are you a serious musician? Do you dress up? Are you just like heartfelt? Just here's who I am, heart on my sleeve kind of person. It's all deadly, baby. But I don't know what is that's something for you to figure out. If I could talk, to be awesome. Another thing, how to create content every day. Do you have a good piece of content that crushed? Do you have something that did really well or moderately well for you? Like for me, it's always about, I'm still the best piece of content I ever put out had 3,000 views. That's my benchmark. That's my awesome one. I was just talking to someone that I work with who put out a video about like food content and had 750,000 views on that piece of content. That's what I dream about, but whatever. Layer onto that. If you have a faux performance video here, what can you do here to add to it, right? And what I mean by that is you already have it in your phone. You saved it because you're smart. And you want an interesting hook that leads you into that. So I'm always looking, like in TikTok, you look at the creator search insights and say, what are some topics that I can talk about that I can then just stitch into that piece of song, right? Like POV, you just found ba ba ba, or you'll never believe this. Whatever the hook is, like hook, and then have that already saved. So you don't need to create a net new asset. You're just creating one small piece, your little hook, and then you're hitting the good stuff. I would really recommend that because that's really beneficial. Another thing is, and this isn't always an option, but having news is really important. When you're shooting content, you're creating content all the time. You're always trying to think of like, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about, right? It's like the constant pressure. How do I get my music out there? How do I get people to care about who I am? A new song? Great. That's number one, I would say. If you're a musician, the number one thing you want to have is a new song to give to people. And the story about that song, everything that went into making that song, who that song's about, what it's about, how it affects your life, what it means to you, pitch it out to media. Like that is the money. Media coverage is, I would say, number two. I will drop a link below. Really proud of myself. I just got a piece of media coverage, my first one. Someone wrote an article about me. I had to call an editor, and then she wrote an article about me and my song, and I will link to it. You can check it out. But pitching yourself is important. If you don't know how to write a pitch, that's fine. Ask ChatGPT. I have this new song. I'd like to go out to media with it. I'd like to tell my story, give it some information about you and what that song is for you, what it means to you, and then look at like local outlets. I'm originally from New York, used to live in Staten Island. I was like, let me pitch the Advance. I pitched it. Like Georgia places didn't really care about my song, but someone took a bite in Staten Island, right? So figure out your angle, right? My angle was like, former Staten Islander puts out his new song. That's enough to kind of get a little bit of a nibble. So figuring out that piece of it is important because then the media coverage gives you more content to talk about, right? It gives you an angle. It gives you something to let people know. It gives you an air of legitimacy and gets you further along. Do you have a collaboration that you're doing? Is there an artist that you're working with, either in the future, you're in the studio with them now, who might have a bigger footprint than you, or even if they don't? It's just interesting if you're working with someone else who people don't know about, right? We all want to be told an interesting story. So think about that as well because it can be helpful. Is there someone that you're working with who might be like a noteworthy producer or a session artist that other people might know, even if it's a local person, right? For my band back in the day, we just had friends that we really liked to work with. I thought like if I could get this one person on this song, it would make this song so much better. It did. It helped that he was someone who was like pretty big in the local scene. It got more listens on that song because people were like, oh, he's jumping on that song? It must be something I would care about. I would listen to as well. So that's just like natural connections. That's just, do you know someone? Do you have a relationship with them already? And that's not for everybody. Like with my stuff now, I don't have that. I'm working with someone who helps finish it off and produce it and things like that. But I don't know if that would necessarily help tell my story. It's It's no knock on him. It's just, you have to think as a person who's consuming media, as a person who's consuming your stories, what are the ones they're going to care about? People are going to care about the fact that I wrote a song about loving my wife. That's an easy thing for anyone. Oh, you're in love? I'm in love. I've been in love. I want to figure out what it's like to be like in love, right? Like there's human truths. Now, I would say it's not the most unique angle on that. Fair. But the one that I have coming out in January is about my kids, right? I think it's going to hopefully do well with other dads who have daughters. I don't know. This is all a crapshoot. But those are a couple tips I have for how to get content every day because it's really important. I have nothing to plug. Listen to my song, would you want to? Read the article about me if you want to. I don't know. I hope this is helpful for you because, getting started out, it's really, you're just like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. And I need all the help I can get. And I hope that I'm providing that for you. And if I'm not, leave me a comment and tell me what I could do to actually help you because I just want this to be as useful as possible. It's a way for me to document my experience and hopefully give other people a shot too. So if I don't talk to you, have a happy holiday. And I don't know if I'll be back next week. I think next week is Christmas. So you might not see you, boy. But I might do one last reflection, right? 2024 year in review. My life as a musician. I don't know, maybe. But I hope this was good for you, and I'll see you soon.